past 12 months has been reasonably challenging. We had one of our lowest rainfall years in Deniliquin last year, 2018. We've decided to carry on with our program, culled a few older ewes, but kept going with irrigated pastures, lesser degree than normal. In the summer we've been trail feeding grain to ewes, and as they progressed into lambing, we had to switch from grain to hay, just as they were lambing, ad lib hay, and then onto the irrigated pastures. Not ideal, we would have preferred to lamb down onto green pasture to maximise lamb survival rate, but unfortunately the ideological way versus the economic way is conflicted by the price of water this year.
Adrian's got a really good opportunity here. He's got some irrigation water and he's watered some pasture up. He's had to feed, use stubbles and feed through summer to keep his ewes in good condition, but having that pasture available to lamb onto is really good for his ewe health and lamb health going forward.
Our joining date was pushed back, and next year I'll push it back even further. We're joined on the 7th of November for a mid-April lambing, and we were starting to irrigate around about the 1st of April. We usually like to have 4 to 6 weeks of autumn saving of the pasture so the ewes can go on to pastures and they'll be growing at their maximum rate without bearing the pasture out.
It's really difficult to keep enough grain and energy up to your ewes when they're going into lambing and early in the lambing process. So Adrian did have a few challenges there with pregnancy toxemia. It's important to supply enough calcium to try to reduce any hypocalcemia or milk fever issues.
Yeah, I've scanned ewes this year. We had quite a good scanning percentage. Yeah, we averaged 165% over the whole mob. So we've got a fair few twins separated into smaller mobs. We've got a mob of singles, and we've given the preferential feed to the twins, better pastures, more hay and more grain. They have held condition because the grain during pregnancy, condition score as you go. It's quite easy to handle sheep when they come up to the feeder.
Transitioning onto pasture can also be difficult as well. If ewes have been on grain and hay, if they're moving on to pasture which is quite low in fibre and a change in their gut, there can be some lower end subclinical issues that people need to be aware of, and often a slow transition onto pasture can give better outcomes than just putting sheep straight onto a pasture which is lush and ready for grazing.
Yeah, try to get the lambs off in August, September as 5-month-old lambs to the supermarket trade. Livestock are extremely important to our cash flow because it's there every year. The autumn watering pretty much sets us up for guaranteed income, and if you've got a good pasture with a lot of seed set in the spring, putting an autumn water on and applying single superphosphate on a subclover pasture or oats shaft pretty much guarantees your income through the winter. It's a big relief when you get them on the pasture. Yeah, there's no better feed for sheep than green feed. A lot of issues disappear. No, I'm here for the long haul, yeah. So we've been conditioned, our generation, to looking for opportunities. Time is the answer, time in the game, so you've just got to assume that it'll come good, and it will, it always does, but you've just got to sort of bunker down during the hard times and make the most of the opportunities when they come.